Disclaimer: the content presented in this show is intended for entertainment purposes only. All opinions expressed are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of any individuals or organizations mentioned. Statements made about public figures or entities are based on publicly available information and are not intended to harm or defame any person or business. This show relies on fair use of social media posts, which are presented in good faith for the purpose of commentary and criticism. Viewers and listeners are advised to form their own opinions. We're back, and reportedly, Jeff Nadu's birthday bash did not go to plan over the weekend. We had an open championship filled with cheating scandals, and of course, the first thing on our minds today is the World Cup final between Spain and Argentina. All that and more on today's Circle Back here on the Circles Off channel, which is part of the Hammerbag Network and presented by ProphetX. It's a show where we cover the latest and greatest that comes from gambling, Twitter, sports Twitter, and beyond. Let's introduce you to the cast on today's show before we get into those topics. First of all, to my left, on the right side, is Rob Pizzola, CEO of The Hammer and professional sports bettor. To my right, we have Jeff Fienberg, golf enthusiast. He was away last week. He's back on the show today. And me, I'm back in one of the chairs beyond the producer desk once again here. I am Jacob Gramegna, your host here on Circle Back. And I actually wasn't expecting to be here on this side of the screen today. So I was a little bit surprised this morning when I saw the rundown. But I've sat here. I've never sat in this chair. And I now notice how it's a little awkward with the microphone looking back and forth.
It's tough. I don't envy that chair. Also, some of the scumbags that have sat in that chair over the years, whether it be Kirk or Jason. I don't really want to lump George into that because George is not like, he roots for injuries in the NFL.
Yeah.
But aside from that, he's a pretty good overall guy. But yeah, the dynamic of the neck back and forth is challenging.
Yeah. This chair, we'll see. Hopefully, maybe some smaller shoes to fill, but hopefully I can rise up to the occasion. Anyways, let's get into the first topic. Of course, we have to start with the World Cup final. We've covered the World Cup extensively everywhere within the Hammer, especially on this channel as well. And Spain, of course, win the World Cup. They beat Argentina 1-0 after extra time. It was a Ferran Torres goal. We've had a lot of fun at the expense of Ferran Torres during the tournament, but he is the one who comes through with the winning goal. Now, first of all, we'll start off with the game itself and the awards that came from it. Rodri wins the best player of the tournament. Unai Simon wins the best goalkeeper. Pau Cubarsí wins the best young player. So it was a clean sweep for Spain there. But as pointed out in a tweet by Ryanalytics, this was rather unlikely even after the game finished. We had Cubarsí at just about 25% to win the best young player award, and Rodri was at under 40% to win the award. Lionel Messi was all the way up at 63% to win the award at the end of the game, but ends up going all the way of Spain. So, Rob, first, I'll start with you. Your reaction to the game, and then maybe touch on the awards.
Yeah, so honestly, kind of a dud of a game, I would say. It was extremely one-sided. One of the challenges, I guess, of watching a team that's as good as Spain that plays that type of football is that they can kind of suck the life out of a game every now and then. And, you know, in terms of memorable World Cup finals, I'd say for an average fan, for a casual, is probably like really low on the totem pole. With that said, I tweeted this yesterday. My favorite thing about betting, just as a whole, is we're all forming these opinions on what we should wager on. And when you make an opinion and you double down on it and like you press on it, for me, and this is, the Barry Horowitz pat on the back, but Spain over the course of the tournament, just trying to get in on good prices wherever I could. And then that actually comes to fruition and your opinion gets validated. It is the best feeling about betting. It's like the ultimate adrenaline rush. And for Spain to win, for me, great Sunday. With that said, there's also these other things that as sports bettors mess with your brain. And this is one of them where it's like, I was making the argument that Rodri was very live for Golden Ball before the game, and people are telling me I was an idiot, but I got no money down on that because I was already so invested in Spain. So now I look back on it, and it's like, wow, I could have made so much more money on this type of event. But all in all, I'm not going to complain. For me, what I wanted to happen in the tournament ended up happening in the tournament and winning. But yeah, a little bit of a lackluster. Like a lot of the secondary storylines kind of dominate. Like having a halftime show was very dominant on social media, more so than parts of the game. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I like it. That great World Cup overall, though. I mean, I don't know what else to say about the tournament. It was fantastic.
Yeah, we'll get to the extracurriculars, but Geoff, you were a big follower of the tournament all the way through, but when it came to the final, you actually missed the final.
Yeah, I missed the final. Got to give Rob his air because he did tell me before the tournament to bet Spain. And I don't know if he remembered that, but I was here the morning of Spain-Portugal and I asked him for a bet in the game. And he's like, if you can get Spain 6-1 or better, like just take more Spain.
To win the tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we did that. So
yeah,
good day, paid for a lot of other lost bets. So that's good.
So let's get into, we'll call it the circus that went on as well alongside the game, because after the game, me and my friends were kind of debating, like, will he try to get in the team photo after the game? Because this is always like the iconic photo from every World Cup final. It's the team hoisting the trophy at the end. And he was kind of milking it on stage for a little bit. We're talking about Donald Trump, president of the U.S., of course. He was handing the trophy, and you could tell he was milking that part of it a little bit. And even Roger was kind of like ushering him to the side. And then he just like statues right next to the players. Infantino's like running across the stage, trying to laugh, like, okay, let's get off the stage now. And Trump just completely airs him. He just stands still, stands there. He gets in the initial shot. Then he's kind of ushered off stage after the fact. Alongside this as well was the halftime show. The first time ever there's a halftime show at a FIFA World Cup match in the final here. Ended up I think I timed it at around 27 minutes halftime compared to the usual 15 minutes for all other soccer games for halftime. And I don't even I'll say my opinion for it. I don't even want to be like a hater of it. I went in not like wanting to enjoy the halftime show, but like, okay, I'll be open to it. Hopefully it's at least good and entertaining. I don't even think we got that really. Vince Langman kind of pointed out here that the Justin Bieber part of it was really, he actually enjoyed it. I actually thought it was really weird because it was upbeat. It was like Shakira, it was Madonna, and then low Justin Bieber, and then they fire it back up. And then on Awful Announcing, they showcased that Wayne Rooney, English soccer legend, Man United legend, said he thought it was crap live on the BBC. And another tweet here, Wolf RMFC, who points out like a lot of what maybe was wrong with it. I also thought it was weird that the final was played under the lights and not under floodlights. So under the sun rather than floodlights. The game wasn't the best, though I did find it entertaining. And the halftime show nonsense. He calls it, this is the worst World Cup final ever. Rob, are you going to be that strong on it?
No, I don't. I mean, listen, I don't know. Obviously, recency bias always plays a factor in this stuff, and people always like to gravitate towards this was the best or this was the worst.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a dull game. Listen, I'll say that, like, I come from parents who are Italian. Italy won in penalties against France where in 2006 where Zinedine Zidane headbutted Marco Materazzi. That was like the highlight of the game. The rest of the game kind of sucked for the most part after it was 1-1. There's been some bad finals before, but like the halftime show, I don't care one way or another. If I'm being completely honest with you, it's another 12 minutes of your life. For me, I almost enjoy the longer halftime because I went and this is really, I was able to restring a guitar that I had. And like, I'm just like, okay, I have enough time to actually do this and I can watch this in the background. Whereas, I wouldn't do that for an ordinary, 12 to 15 minute halftime. But I don't know. I'm not like the right one to comment on this stuff. It's like mildly entertaining background noise. It doesn't affect my life in any way other than we waited 12 minutes for the second half to kick off. Like Wayne Rooney just went off on this on live TV.
Yeah.
Because he's played soccer his whole life. He's never had to deal with this. He thinks it's a farce. But, you host in North America, you're going to get some North American traditions. And that's just the way it was with that. The Trump stuff, hilarious. I'm not a political guy. I don't like to involve politics in everything. Trump is in office. Deal with it. That's going to happen one way or another. One of the beauties for me of someone on the outside is that this guy is just hilarious. Like, he does the funniest fucking shit all the time. Like, you knew that was going to happen. Like, you could see him coming out with the trophy. I'm like, oh, baby, like, something's about to go down here. I can't wait to watch this. And it did not disappoint at all. One of the funniest moments watching a sporting event. I couldn't Like sometimes you got to like pinch yourself to see if you're actually watching what you're watching. So whatever, like the all this just contributes to, I think, why sports are great. And like big sporting events, you know, it's not always just about what happens on the field necessarily. And we got a lot of talking points, but yeah, listen, larger grand scheme, probably lower level World Cup final, probably, and again, recency bias, the best World Cup I think I can remember. Like there was just so few duds of matches. Everything had some sort of storyline. There was a lot more goals, top end players scoring goals. I don't know. Great tournament.
Betting 0-0s, like I said a couple weeks ago, for the first halves of like all the big games. I don't have an official tracking, but my vibes tell me I crushed it.
Yeah, you're back. I mean, you should log into your account.
Well, I have lots of different accounts.
right.
So it's, and they're all on their own.
Plus, you're betting some other stuff too, which maybe did not do as well, which we might get to. I mean, we will.
Oh, it's fine.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just, if you didn't like, if you gave soccer a chance and you didn't enjoy this World Cup, you're probably just never going to enjoy. So, like that's the way I view it. There's no way, at least in my mind, other than like the GRPs of the world who are just like so anti-soccer before you even see it, that you wouldn't have enjoyed this World Cup.
Yeah.
I did laugh at the tweets though, comparing yesterday's game to like Jets Browns.
No, because the quality was so much higher. Like the quality of one team was so absurdly.
It's okay. The soccer teams score more goals than the Blue Jays score runs. So.
Oh, I saw people, the Jets fans, seeing a primetime game with no scores. It's like a Leonardo DiCaprio me pointing the screen. That was pretty good.
One of the funniest things I did see, and we don't have it in the rundown, but the blimp shot, I guess, of the stadium. You know how you always get like that zoomed out shot of the surroundings, typically where the games are hosted.
Right.
But this is like the concrete jungle.
Yeah, they're
it's like
pretty
a stadium
focused,
in the middle of a parking
they're focused
lot.
on the stadium.
I'm like, wow, this is really doesn't give the vibe of a World Cup match. But
have you been to MetLife? It's like it's a disaster getting in and out of that stadium.
I believe it.
Seeing
the aerial shots, I can see.
Yeah, because there's just so little ways to get in and out, and it's just such a humongous area of concrete outside. It's kind of a disaster. The stadium itself isn't that great either. To be honest,
you think of a lot of NFL stadiums, a lot of them are buried in the heart of the city.
Yeah,
in like you think
of
of Pittsburgh, Seattle. Yeah, but this is just. Yeah, literally the shot was the
they were zoomed in
and the parking lot. Like it was so far out. It was
of the stadiums built around that stadium. Because it's unfair to like compare it to things built like 30 years before it or whatever. It is by far the worst stadium the league has built in like the last 30 years.
Of like the new ones.
Yeah. In the last,
it
is like not even close. Yeah, it's already one of the biggest pieces of crap that the league has.
Yeah. There's only two teams that got to play there as well. There's only two teams.
Granted, it got to host the World Cup final, so
yep. I mean,
must be decent.
You know what? Again, we're North American. I thought the hosting was really good for the tournament. I think even if you pulled like Europeans who came out, I think they were pretty surprised with how well it was hosted.
I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
And part of like the vibes on being fantastic is if you listen to like any mainstream thing, they fear-mongered that it was going to be like horrible for all different reasons, from like very scary ones to obviously prices of tickets, people not wanting to come to America or travel. They just fear-mongered the shit that it was going to be a disaster. And it was phenomenal. Yeah. Like I said a couple weeks ago, the UN's existed forever. The World Cup does what the UN is supposed to do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, last World Cup in the US was 94. Italy, Brazil, final 32 years ago. I would venture a guess that the US is going to get like 1 out of every 5 going forwards.
Yeah.
I think once every 20 years, North America, maybe not just the US, but North America will be hosting.
Well, there's very few, like Yeah, I mean, they got the infrastructure. They don't have to build anything.
The stadiums are there. People were paying the ticket prices, which was a huge talking point before the World Cup.
Yes and no, because there were a lot of games with, like, in the group stage that there were a lot of empty seats. But yeah, anytime there was a big game, the prices were astronomical.
But that's also happened for every World Cup. At
Yeah,
least
of
to my
course.
recollection, like you just get games with quote unquote like minnows, smaller teams that the fan bases don't travel as well. They're smaller countries. Like games involving, Curacao, for like you're not going
to fill an NFL stadium.
Exactly, but you're not even going to fill some smaller stadiums.
It's hard to fill, like, their population, the entire country can struggle to fill an
Exactly,
NFL stadium. So,
exactly.
like, how do you expect them to travel as well, right?
Right. And to get a neutral to go watch a Curacao match might be a little bit more challenging. But overall, honestly, credit to North America, especially the U.S., who hosted the majority of the games.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the tournament was a huge success.
Agreed.
Yep.
Yeah. And I even enjoyed the fun. I enjoyed the tactical battle of it. I enjoyed how Spain deployed, because, like, Argentina were bad, but also they're bad because of how well Spain played.
Do you think everybody kind of operates in their own little bubble in terms of like what their friends cheer for, what country they're from, they're native to, and all that? I feel like this Argentina team this year turned into like one of the most hated teams that I can remember.
It was like watching the Patriots or something.
Yeah, like the Argentina stuff, everybody thinking the fix was in for them. The way that they played the final in particular, which was extremely physical. Like they got away with a lot of pretty reckless stuff.
They had a pretty easy path relative to others.
Yeah. So I watched with a big group of friends, and everyone there was anti-Argentina. I didn't feel actually like that upset about Argentina on the way to the final. I didn't feel that. I was cheering for Spain because I won my pool with my friends because Spain won the tournament. I would have lost had Argentina won, but I didn't get that. But my friend group absolutely was like, just not Argentina, please.
It felt to me as a great comp, like the Patriots dynasty, where everyone's just like, I don't want this. I don't. That's just the way I felt about it. I'm good that at least you back me up on that. But yeah, the social media that was being filtered to me in particular, like the big tweets that were popping off were all anti.
No, I got it too. Even like TikTok this morning, it was like celebrating that. Thank God Spain won this, because look at what Argentina did all the way through, and the way they conducted themselves in the final, performance-wise, discipline-wise, and even after the final.
Enzo Fernandez with the red card after the match.
No, Paredes got in the match. Paredes after the match is like wrestling people to the ground. Yeah. You're right. Sorry, he did get a red card after the match as well. So they end up getting 2 red cards. Right. It was just absurd. It added to. I called it a circus. It was called a circus in one of the tweets. It was a circus as well, on top of like a really impressive Spain performance, and the best team, I think, ended up winning the World Cup. Let's keep it going, though. Some other storylines that come from the World Cup final, some funny ones and some interesting bits. First of all, the Drake curse continues. So the Drake curse actually originated as he used to wear a ton of jerseys, and that team would always lose the game if he was in a jersey for like a big game or if he was at the event. Now the Drake curse has kind of transitioned into him and his affiliation with Stake and putting humongous bets on like a Super Bowl or a World Cup. So he had 1.5 million. Yeah.
Bets in quotations, potentially.
I'll get there. So he had 1.5 million on Argentina to beat Spain in the World Cup final. Now, I said in our group chat, I'm not entirely sure Drake is placing these bets. I know he does, I'm sure he does his own wagering. I'm sure he's got plenty of money, but you could definitely suggest that the company that has been even proven in the past to have been giving people money to wager with on their platforms and their casino and stuff, they might be doing this for promotional purposes with Drake as well. Another tweet, the next one here, kind of a funny one, the kind of getting back to reality. We have KB here, says, caught the soccer fever with the World Cup, decided to tune into the Seattle Sounders game tonight, and oh boy. And I don't know if you guys last week watched TFC, Toronto FC's 0-0 with CF Montreal. That was a rude awakening of where we're back to now. And actually an interesting bit at the end is the amount of volume prediction markets saw on this game here. Bloomberg reported that prediction market trading surged during the blowout World Cup, far outpacing the growth at traditional sports books and underscoring the threat the sports gambling industry faces. So they're outperforming the biggest names of sports books, these prediction markets. So clearly the shift exists, and it's like it's not even really that close, the volume that we saw there.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing that. I mean, for some of these matches, Mexico England comes to mind for sure as like insane volume.
Yeah,
like stuff we just have never seen before in North America in terms of volume on matches. But it's easy to see why. Like the matches were so interesting. Think about the, I hate to use the word like the public, but all those like 2+ goal scorers that hit early in the tournament, Messi, yeah. Mbappe, Haaland, like people were flush with money in their accounts to just continue rolling that over. So it kind of really worked out for a lot of people early on where it was like the square, like I think with the exception of the groups that went off in the last 8, Portugal losing the group to Colombia.
Yeah.
And the U.S. winning their group, where Turkey was favored beforehand.
I don't think they were. U.S. are favored.
Were they?
Yeah.
Okay, so then every favorite except for Portugal.
Yeah.
So that just makes a lot of sense to me that you would see this increase. But again, just social media, like the overwhelming success of the tournament in the group stage, early knockouts, like it just drew so many people into these markets. So yeah, not a surprise at all. And I think this is just the tip of the iceberg, if we're being honest. Like prediction markets are picking up steam. You can't really ignore it or deny it at this point.
Yeah, I mean, even like 2 years ago, I remember you interviewed Dean Sisson of ProphetX, and he was talking about like the growth he expects in the industry. And even at the time, I think a lot of people were still like skeptical of that. And it was like, okay, well, he's talking about his own product. Is he kind of like gassing it up a little bit? And even like some of the biggest believers, I think in prediction markets maybe wouldn't have anticipated the scale at which the growth would occur in just like 1 or 2 years. Is that fair to say?
I think so. I mean, it's outpaced what I would have expected. Maybe I'm an idiot, but like these are absurd. Like the volume numbers I see nowadays for specific events are bordering on insane.
Yeah.
At this point. And even money that floods in after an event is done, like player award markets and things of that nature, it's getting really nuts. So yeah, listen, overwhelming success. If you are a prediction market or honestly even a traditional sports book, you probably are really happy with the amount of volume that was traded throughout this tournament. It just attracted everyone, really.
Yeah, but just because the World Cup's done doesn't mean the sport's stopped. There's still plenty of action to take on with prediction markets and with show sponsor ProphetX. Rob, do you want to add on?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're kind of getting into a little bit of a lull here. Now that World Cup is over, you know, there's other stuff going on. There's WNBA, there's Major League Baseball. There's other, some people might say you're a degenerate if you bet that stuff. I don't necessarily agree, but football is right around the corner. And for a lot of people, they're going to flood into the prediction markets right as football season is starting. You're going to have to get acclimated to the product. I think this is a great time to do it right now. Honestly, take the month that we have before college football and NFL start, head over to ProphetX, use code CirclesOff, trade 10, get $20, get acclimated with the platform, see how it works, see how you know, whether you're making, most people will be taking, but just kind of figure out your way through it there. And there's a lot of markets that are being offered in everything nowadays. Yeah. So if it's a sporting event, ProphetX is going to offer it in some capacity. So I would say use this next month. Maybe you want to, you know, take a little bit of a reset after World Cup, but get acclimated with prediction markets because as the volume numbers showed us on the previous slide, they're not going anywhere. And this NFL and college football season is going to be huge on these markets. So check out ProphetX. Like I said, use code CirclesOff. And yeah, I mean, man, football's right around the corner as well. It's going to be real exciting.
And soccer coming back. Like World Cup's done, a few weeks. We got Premier League back soon.
But
so yeah,
you know, the MLS stuff. The
MLS was humbling.
That is a funny tweet because I do watch. I don't want to say a lot of MLS, but I try to catch most Toronto FC games, and there is a noticeable difference. In
that I was expecting TFC to be bad, but good grief, that was an awful game. That was an unfortunate callback to where I'm headed. So we'll see. And I went to the Canada opener down the street against Bosnia, and I can't wait for TFC to come back. And then the vibe is different, the stadium is different because the seats are all those extra seats are gone. Yeah, it'll be a rude awakening for sure. But let's get into our next topic here. We're going to get into the golf world here. The Open Championship took place over the weekend. We had a pretty successful Open Championship preview on the Hammer HQ YouTube channel with our very own Geoff Fienberg earlier in the week. If when the majors roll around, make sure you're checking it out for the next one. But in this edition, Ryan Fox comes through and wins it. Really nice birdie on the final hole to come through and get ahead of Cam Young and win the 154th British Open. As covers showcased here, the 2026 major winners and their pre-tournament betting odds were pretty crazy this year. For the Masters, was Rory McIlroy at just plus 550, but PGA Championship, Aaron Rai was plus 12,500. Wyndham Clark was plus 10,000 at the U.S. Open, and for the Open Championship, Ryan Fox, the biggest of them all, plus 20,000. One of the most improbable years in major golf history. Geoff, I know you're away, but I'm sure you're caught up on everything here. What was your take on the weekend?
What a performance. What a performance. I made a live bet on Cam Young early yesterday morning, so that kind of stung, but I don't know, what stones? Like the bunker shots he made, the par save on 13. There weren't many birdies on 18 this week, and I mean, he just put it right below the hole and hit the 12-footer. Like, no words. As for the year of the major winners, that is just, I can't even fathom it.
It is.
I can't. It's unfathomable to me. I guess that's why I like George Betts.
He's picking the wrong long shot. So
Well,
he's going a
taking
little
whole-
too deep down the board.
He's looking a little too deep, but no, yeah, this is incredible. Golf is stupid. The magic is, like there's magic. It's an incredible sport. It's relatable. Just wild stuff, and it can't get over. Like Fox, 39 years old, didn't start golfing until his mid-late teens. I wouldn't think that's a path for others. He's apparently a purebred athlete. His father is one of the greatest New Zealand rugby players of all time. He's a brick shithouse who was like a highly touted rugby player also. His swing is so awkward.
I know.
As you see a lot of athletes when they pick up golf, even in their late teens,
Right.
their motions are kind of a little more, far less natural, but holy shit, can they get around. Friday morning, he shot that 8 under on Friday. It's 6:40 in the morning. I'm up with the kids, see the golf, sees 4 under. I looked at it. It's 150 to 1. It's going to win.
Yeah, I know.
Pass.
Tough. I
didn't I don't feel like I missed the bet.
Yeah. You have
Just,
for perspective, if we pull up an NFL futures market right now, okay, the Las Vegas Raiders right now, the modal price, the most common price in the market is 125 to 1 to win the Super Bowl this year, which was Aaron Rai's price to win the PGA. Ryan Fox would basically be the equivalent of the Cleveland Browns winning the Super Bowl this year at what they were priced
on Monday morning, though, unequivocally, if you said you had to have one, Fox to win the Open or the Browns to win the Super Bowl, it's 100 out of 100 times.
I would tell you the Browns don't have a shot to win the Super Bowl, whereas Ryan Fox.
Golf is stupid. That guy, he has some insane low. Ryan Fox has shown, he gets scorching hot at times.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unfathomable. I guess
4 rounds. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to diminish this. However, it's a smaller sample, whereas the Browns have to produce that over an entire season.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't even know where to go with that other than the Brown. I wouldn't bet the Browns ever. Well, you could have talked me into Ryan Fox last week.
I think going into this year of golf, there was a common. I'm not saying everyone believed this, but I think there was a somewhat consensus opinion that guys further down the board can't really win majors. You would hear that a lot. If you're watching golf content, it's going to be it's going to be one of these 20 guys because these tournaments, it's always, and we deviated from that quite a bit this year.
I want to just push back on that because I think once you just step into the golf content space, there's always the preface of every 3 years, 100 to 1 does win a major.
Sure, but we had 3 of them this
year.
year.
I know. Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah.
That is unfathomable. But last year we had JJ Spawn.
Yep.
I'm just drawing blanks, but they happen. And then sometimes it'll get to a point where if we go 2 years without it, we'll start the year being well, we're due for the stupid major winner.
Right.
So it's, yeah, I mean, it's always in play in
of
golf.
course.
Golf tends to it. And open championships historically are more susceptible than some of the other majors for a variety of different reasons. It also takes away a bit away the premium on distance. Funny enough, 3 guys right there, Burns, Cam Young, and Ryan Fox. That was the leaderboard at the Canadian Open at TPC Toronto. So it's a comp course to Royal Brookdale.
Well, you're going to see that in the data golf metrics next year. Comparable courses. Yeah. I liked that there was like a lot of action. There's no runaway really this week, which was nice. There was a lot of people that could have won. Listen, not the best of any major. And there was a secondary storyline that dominated as well with a lot of cheating allegations. But yeah, overall.
Before we leave on Fox, I want to say if like a guy we consider like a premier top tier golfer, or like say a Hovland or a Ludwig, like guys we put up as like just younger guys who like we see everything potentially coming, I feel like we would be going so much harder at what happened yesterday. I didn't see it in real time. I watched like the final 8 back 9 for the most part. The broadcast is just objectionable. Like it is just horrific what they do there. They should be like truly ashamed. But Ryan Fox's 8 holes there is some of the most amazing in like recent major championship history. I almost feel like now I wasn't on the internet like the hour after he won, so maybe I missed all the crazy hyperbolic points.
Yeah.
But it was like one of the most impressive hour and a half of golf you can remember. And like to think if someone, dare I say, who I'm like a fanboy for, like if Ludwig had done that, if someone we already consider either like going to be truly elite or currently elite did it, I think we would still be talking about the greatness of that round yesterday.
Very possible. Instead, we're talking about Ryan Fox taking a commercial flight and not getting upgraded to business class.
Well, it's just the Manchester to UK to get on their main flight. So I think it's just a little flight.
One of us, like
but
that.
I don't know if you noticed, Cam Young was sitting in front of Ryan Fox today.
As Ryan Fox is trying to stuff the claret jug into overhead, he's got Cam Young right in front of him.
One of the all-time worst travel beats ever. Like, I wouldn't want to spend 30 minutes in the car ride home with a guy I lost a member guest to.
True.
Let alone having to be on an airplane. It's not head-to-head, but if you see the footage of Cam Young on the range, the moment he hears the crowd because Fox hit the putt, they obviously cared, but that was a punch in the gut. You're trying to escape it, put on your content, laugh for a few hours, and here comes the fucking trophy being stashed right
trophy
on
and
top,
the replica trophy
right on top of your head,
getting dunked on.
I don't know what China would
posterized.
Yeah, the claret
I don't
jug
know
and the
what
replica
China.
claret jug.
He says there's no bad beats in betting, but are there bad beats in say like travel? Because that's an ultimate travel bad beat.
That's got to be a bad.
So
beat.
do you think Cam Young was on the plane first and just sitting his seat?
Yeah.
He looks up in horror. No fucking way. He's like lugging through all the luggage and the
And
jug.
then you're like, oh, you're right here, eh? Yeah.
Hey, I'm in this one. What do you know?
For sure there's probably a half dozen people who are going over on that flight to congratulate him as well and say something.
They're probably hovering over his seat, standing there. He's just like drilled into his phone with headphones into the guy hovering over him. Yeah. I didn't even think about that part of it. That's probably the worst of it all. That's funny. All right, we're going to keep going to the Open Championship in just a second here because there was a bigger story, in fact, than Ryan Fox winning. But before we do, a big shout out to you because Circles Off just hit 25,000 subscribers on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for all the support you guys give us in the channel. We really appreciate it. We're working very, very hard behind the scenes, and seeing stuff like this and hitting these milestones really does help keep us going. I've been really involved with Circles Off for like 2 years now, maybe just a little bit less. But Rob, you've been obviously here since the beginning, so talk about the journey here.
Yeah, actually, there's going to be a Wednesday video that drops this week, which is a little bit actually about the journey to where we are and what's going to be coming up. A very honest, transparent, candid video. But of course, we appreciate all of you. And if it were up to me, like, I'm not big on vanity metrics. I don't love to ask for likes and subs and comments and all that stuff. But the reality is that we operate in a world where algorithms are really important, and we want to get our content out there. And the best way to do that is by you liking and subbing. We just had over 1,000 subs in our last 28 days. That's the best performance this channel has had since we first launched. So do appreciate everyone that has supported us in all of that. And know that it does mean a lot to everyone here, not only at Circles Off, but the Hammer as a whole and the entire network. Just really fuels us to keep going. So we do really appreciate it. Thank you to everyone out there.
So one of the comments from the chat, the live chat we have right now from Pawn Some Noob says, Bryson got screwed on that stroke penalty. So we'll see if the cast agrees with it here, because there was footage that we saw. I don't have the video up here. I have a screenshot of it where Bryson is walking into like the weeds here, the fescue, whatever you want to call it. And he's taken some heavy-ish sort of steps, I would say. Lane Sharp said he 10,000 or 100,000% stepped the grass down to improve his swing, no question. He got a 2-stroke penalty for doing this after some deliberation with the rules analyst or the rules team, whatever they're called. Anyways, Bryson himself said, obviously disappointed with the ruling. I don't agree with it, but it is what it is. This fires me up onto the weekend. Let's get it. And then there were obviously very large reactions on social media. We go to the next slide here. There was an account that showcased a before and after. It was at Tea Times Pub, who had a before and after. Like, can anyone honestly look at the before and after and say Bryson stomped down the grass in a way that actually affected his pass swing? Now, the after photo does look like, the before photo does look a little more stamped down, but as he notes, lots of people in the replies claiming the grass looks more flat in the after picture. Bad news, I've swapped the pictures, and the before is actually when he strikes the ball. So everyone who said that must think he actually made a swing.
I love that, by the way. I love the gotcha moment there.
I do really like that, but the video, he hadn't approached the ball yet. Did he step after he approached the ball? Did he go back and step again, though?
Yeah, it looked to me like, it's hard to say. There's only one person that knows whether this was intentional or not, and that's going to be Bryson. That's it at the end of the day. Everything else is pure speculation. I'm not a professional golfer. The way that Bryson does his pre-shot routine is kind of like the way I do, where I'm going to go behind my ball and walk towards it. I don't know what was consciously going through his head or not in that moment, but I will tell you, I was watching live coverage. Geoff, you were too. A lot of guys that are in our Circles Off chat were watching live when they brought Bryson back to the spot to go through this with him. And he was getting in the rules of it. He started mouthing, I'm not playing tomorrow, all the stuff. And I got to tell you, whether you like Bryson or not, and there's certainly people who hate him, there's people who love him, it was peak cinema. Like, it was so good to watch that entire exchange, where I like when we have moments like this. I know the controversy and what I just love it for sports when you have something that becomes this huge talking point where every person is now weighing in on the situation. People are like, oh yeah, he definitely improved his lie, this and that. And then there's like people responding, well, you don't know the rules. Like, why don't you look up the rule book? And it is the best to me. Like, these are my favorite moments in sports. I don't know, Jake. Like, I honestly have no clue. In my opinion, if I had to say what's more likely, I believe that he knew what he was doing. That would be he's too smart. He is such a stickler for rules, generally. Like, he knows every advantage to be gained on a course. I believe he knew what he was doing, but you get Scotty defending him, supporting him, being like he's not a cheater. You get Rory being like, well, you know what?
Did Scotty defend him, though? He just said he's not a cheater.
True.
Scotty took a shot at the truth of the matter is that these guys need to be policed better, and the PGA Tour lets these guys run amok. True. That's the ultimate problem. So to the point of when it happened, I was doing a live cut sweat show that I started at 12:30 or was part of. We're now like bordering 4 o'clock, past 4 o'clock here. And after a 3.5 hour show, I just can't wait for it to be over. About to wrap up. Bryson's in the bush. The adrenaline rush of like me, you could not explain. Oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. I'm like having the time of my life watching it. But like later at night, alone in my thoughts, I was like disgusted at all of it.
Really?
I was disgusted
Disgusted?
Yeah, disgusted. The fact that the RNA got in the bush with him, I think is disgusting. I think that's an embarrassment. It shows that they were uncertain enough to even like examine the scene of the crime with him. It made him look like a total loser.
Yeah.
It made golf look like losers. It's like if you're at the club, you're high on drugs or something, you're having the best time, something happens, maybe you see a couple midgets wrestling, you're loving it. You get home at night, everything is worn off, and you're like, I'm repulsed. Like at what you were in the moment, it was exhilarating. But when it wore off,
I want to know what club experiences.
No,
you've
I'm
had
just
in your
saying.
life. This is very foreign to me.
I'm just saying, like at the end, like you saw some shit, you cheered on, but like I'm repulsed. Like that was disgusting. Yes, I do believe Bryson broke the rules. The problem is you cannot just call that on Bryson.
Yeah.
You had to have like come out and penalized someone else in the day, not from the same spot, but for doing something very similar because it happens non-stop. Full stop. These guys have perfected it. They've perfected it, Jacob. They think they get to a spot, they don't like their lie. What do? Oh, they take out like a wood. I think I'm going to hit a wood. No. They're like pretending they're a batter in the batter's box, just like shaking their stick, thinking they're matting. They're never hitting this club. They go right back for the iron every time, full stop. I don't want to pick on the guy. He walked through the fire. There's footage of Wyndham Clark. It's part of the reason people didn't like him. They didn't like him for doing this sort of stuff before Shinnecock even winning. There's footage of him doing a clear line upgrade his path of the ball to get easier access to the back of the ball. The PGA Tour lets these guys run amok. And I think for the RNA, which is probably disgusted at what the PGA Tour puts up with, to call it there, I think was so absurd. If he's not going to call it on himself and you got to go back in there, I just don't think it's a good look. I don't think it's fair. I think also you have to contextualize it. We know the better players have a bit of a disadvantage because they're always covered. There's a handy cam because he's in the featured group going into a bush with him.
Yeah.
Now, if you're a golfer, you have to assume everyone's playing by the rules. Because imagine thinking, do you know how like annoying it would be mentally if in your head you think like 40 guys are out here cheating?
Yeah.
Like you have to just focus on your own thing. Like it would be not good for anyone. I think these guys, at the end, it's like a 60, 80 person office and they don't want to ruffle feathers with each other. It's like a traveling circus. Everyone's making a lot of money. We need like 4 or 5 assholes out there. We need Daniel Berger really good at golf again to police this shit. Because again, yes, it was a penalty, but like guys are going 80 in a 50 and you're pulling over the guy who just went like 57.
Yeah.
Well, like 80s are like zooming. Catch them.
Would it make any sense whatsoever to just allow players to improve their lie? Universally. Because that to me is just like the problem for me is that the PGA can't enforce what they're enforcing on everyone. Like to your point, the cameras are on Bryson the entire time while he's playing around. If it was, Francesco Molinari who did this, no one's going to fucking know. No one's going to have anything.
Yeah,
maybe you got a guy on the course who calls in and be like, oh, maybe I saw.
Players got to police themselves. That's the thing about it.
Yeah. Like, I don't know.
I
don't know which golfer it was this week who was down on all fours, pulling away.
Yeah. So if we go to the next slide, we actually have a few like other cheating examples, and there was alleged cheating examples. So on the next page, there's the guy, like picking up twigs around the ball. I was hoping one of you could provide context, but go ahead on that.
At some point, it's getting a little bit ridiculous all around at this point in terms of. I'm just of the opinion, like speeding, you could police that for the most part, whether that's, speed trap cameras, police with radar or whatever.
Well, because
you're not going to get everyone.
Fear of getting caught.
Is
they know once in a while people do get caught speeding, so that you know the police are out there and people are getting caught with speeding tickets. If you pull your group of friends, I'm sure someone got one in the last 2 months. So they're out there. This is a problem. They never enforce it.
Yeah.
Well,
It's never enforced. So it's like something that's never enforced, although
you could argue that's what speeding is like too, though. Like if I'm going 15 over, if I'm going 10 over, I'm not expected to get pulled. I don't think I'm getting pulled over.
oh yeah.
If I'm on the highway going 20 over, I don't think I'm getting pulled over.
But that's the thing. Wyndham Clark knows the PGA Tour ain't enforcing shit.
exactly. That's
gonna
kind
keep-
of similar to speeding in that way. That's what I'm saying.
Unless you're Patrick Reed.
Yeah, I guess.
You think it could be anything to do with the live guys?
No. Bryson is its own unique thing.
Yeah.
And as much as I love like Jacob Neiman, if you really do like go find out what he did, listen to it, like that probably deserves a code of conduct penalty. It's like fourth down decisions. Everyone are their own, and I guess maybe we get to that if we discuss the Scotty thing. But I just want to add to it. I'm obsessed with like the current version of Rory McIlroy and his like 0 F's given about anything. He's got a lot of haters. I don't think Rory's performative. I don't. People are like comparing that to Bryson. I don't think him.
Well, Geoff, man, like Rory went up to a guy and took the phone out of his hand.
Yeah, Rory doesn't give a shit. He's like an old man who's like at that stage in his life. He's like
I
super
thought
wealthy.
that was very performative at the time.
There's no cameras there. It's a practice round.
That's
Yeah,
not
but
performative. I
That's
did the
him
opposite.
being. That's not like Bryson is phony AF. Rory's just Rory.
Bryson,
I don't
yeah.
think it's performative to do something on a practice round, like that. I don't.
I will
I don't
say
think.
that.
I don't think Rory, after missing 2 4-footers to lose a U.S. Open and like ripping his shirt in the scoring tent, is performative.
Yeah.
I think that's the same as Marlon McCree fumbled my chance to go to the Super Bowl way, and I whipped a controller through the wall.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's just like an instant. Like I don't know, man. I'm currently a Rory apologist because I love this new Rory. I love that he's even got a bit of a rivalry with the new PGA Tour commissioner. I'm eating all of it up. I'm a Rory stan.
He's an agitator now, which I like it.
People hate him. I don't know.
No. I find this, well, maybe because it reminds me a little bit of myself, but I find this version to be very endearing.
So, yeah, let me-
It's just telling it how it is, man.
Let me read what they're referencing here. So Rory McIlroy was interviewed, I guess, after his round or after the tournament about Bryson DeChambeau, and he said, "I'm not particularly fond of him. I think a lot of it is performative. I think a lot of it's for attention to hold the tournament hostage. Didn't feel like it was a great look." So he didn't like the antics after all this, as you guys are pointing
But
out.
he also admits he doesn't really like Bryson.
Yeah, he says that in there as well. He's like, I'm not a big fan. I'm not particularly fond.
If you say I'm not particularly fond of him, you fucking hate that guy.
But you would
way.
also find other players who have no skin in the game where like this is bullshit. Like it delayed their tee times coming out. Some of them at early mornings.
Yeah, that was another thing. Like,
And if you really want to know how like golfers feel, because again, I said these guys, they don't want awkwardness. They're sort of part of a traveling circus, these elite golfers, even though they're independent contractors. You have a question about the rules? This week, there'll be like a 2-3 minute reel from the senior tour, the Champions Tour, of someone asking all those guys. And they're not like looking to make any friends. I mean, they're old, they're at that stage in their life. They'll say whatever they want. Their friends aren't on the PGA Tour anymore. You want the truth about like how golfers feel about the rules that went down this week? Just track down what will inevitably come out from the driving range at the Champions Tour.
Right.
Because they'll all give their 2 cents on it, and that's probably the accurate position.
yeah. The Scotty one was in particular insane because the guy hit his ball so far off the planet, basically, that he was incentivized not to find the ball.
yeah.
Which, I mean, I'll say this. The rules are the rules. The golfers don't make the rules. The rules are the rules. If you can gain an advantage on the rules by knowing the rules,
Yeah.
I personally don't have an issue with that. Like, people are going off on Scotty today, but like, he knows what the rules are. He told his caddy, the guy, he's like, don't look for that ball.
And he
Don't
talked.
find-
He talked to the people about
they-
the rules before it happened. He
Right.
asked about it.
Like that to me is a problem with the rules, not with the way that
Yeah, so let me explain the situation. He puts his ball in a bad position. He needs to get a drop. If he finds the ball, he drops it at the point of entry into the obstruction. If he doesn't find the ball, there's a drop area, which he felt was a better lie than what he would have gotten. So as people are looking for the ball, he asks the people on site about the rule, and they say that exactly. So he tells his people, stop looking for the ball. Yeah. I'm gonna hit from over here. And if that's the rule, like, it is what it is. Like, why would he not do that?
They have to figure that one out because it's so stupid that you can hit your ball into such a bad position.
This is, again, the problem with the PGA Tour and this modern pro game is when you have all these like corporate buildouts and hospitality, sometimes these guys get to play like stadium golf. Where if, we're out there, that ball's just going, it's going. If it's tumbling one way on a hard slice, there's no hospitality tent or hospitality fence to stop it.
Yeah.
In defense of Scotty, this is like a local rule. We saw the incident here like a decade ago with Spieth that I'm still upset about at this course. So they got a lot of freaking local rules. This was just incredibly embarrassing for golf, though, because as you mentioned, once they couldn't find the ball, Scotty had realized that finding the ball could hurt me because this area, there's 2 drop areas. If you go in it, one is significantly more advantageous than the other. What is so disappointing as a golf fan is they're never allowed to make assumptions on where it went in, how it went in.
Yeah.
We have to find the ball.
Yeah.
There could be 12 witnesses, Jacob, to a ball in a tree. We all saw it go in. We have to get the ball.
We have to find the ball.
You have people shaking down a tree, having caddies climbing trees, players climbing. We've seen the craziest shit.
So had Sergio hit
So
on
the
tree
fact
once.
that they can assume it went in there, but they couldn't find it, okay. But how can they assume that he gets that area of a drop? I found like deplorable. Scotty essentially got a free roll because he got to place the ball where a good layup shot would have gone without facing a penalty.
Do you blame him like the vast majority of people do?
No, but I think with a lot of golf rules, this is how I would look at it. And in particular, we can add on, you watch how these guys take their drops. They've perfected it.
Yeah.
To me, it's now like tanking in the NBA.
Yeah.
Where they've realized they've taken a rule, and to their credit, they figured out how to manipulate it to their advantage.
Pull the driver out of the bag. And
But that's all of it. How they drop it, and then they know if they drop it on like the downhill slope twice, it'll move. Then they get to place it perfectly. It's now gotten to the point where they have to change the rule, in my opinion, because the players have perfected ways around it, sort of like how the NBA is trying to fix tanking.
Yeah.
And then they'll put something else in, and if they figure out that, we'll just change it again.
Yeah.
But it has gotten so out of hand on so many levels. And I'm in, like a couple weeks ago, I'm making fun of the soccer and how like soccer hardos are reacting to the red card, the no red card. And I'm like, I just get a laugh. It's not my sport. This was my sport. And it was so bothersome.
So this is me getting a laugh. All I can imagine is Happy Gilmore putting around the camera stand that fell over for his winning putt.
Rule states play the ball as it lies.
Yeah.
He's like, we'll get this
No,
cleaned up.
he plays it as it lies.
I had to play off Frankenstein's fat foot.
Or how you're jumping in the lake to find his ball. Like you said, they have to find the ball. He jumps in the lake. He's like searching through all the balls. Yeah. So now I'm on the opposite side of you.
It's not funny.
This is
It's
fun.
not funny
I just think
anymore.
the
It's so
criticism,
bothering
now it's
me.
funny.
the criticism for him is unwarranted. I think. Like, what is he gonna do? Like, be the honorable guy and be like, oh, it's obviously here. I'm gonna drop it. The rule's the fucking rule.
I mean, it ends in a tap in birdie, giving him a chance to stay in the tournament. When it's a shot that ends your tournament, it was very polarizing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think it's questionable because then we're also in this golf world where then it's like that default, like, I wonder if it was Bryson who hit it in there. How it did.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, we'll come off the golf stuff now. We got some other big topics to get to in just a second here. But Rob mentioned earlier that football is on the way back, and we're doing some excellent coverage over on the Forward Progress YouTube channel because this week we have a Q&A that's going to be dropping with Rob Pizzola himself alongside George Silfides, G-Stack George, who you see on this show sometimes as well. They're going to be answering your NFL questions heading into the new season. If you want to get involved, head over to our NFL channel in the Discord that we have at the Hammer. The link is in the description for that, or you can go to discord.gg/hammer. Get your questions in. Even if you don't want to get your question, should be a great episode this week with Rob and George. Any little things to add to that?
No, absolutely. We got a ton of questions that we're going through. It could be related to this upcoming NFL season, could be general NFL betting strategy type of questions. We're going to answer them all, and that's going to drop this week. Of course, we also recorded 32 teams in 32 days. So if you want and to get yourself ready for the upcoming season, know what happened in the offseason, we have all that in a playlist on Forward Progress as well. So plenty coming.
Now let's get into stuff that we got from Fanatics Fest over the weekend. First of all, Cam Scadaboo, who is recovering from an open tibia fracture and a dislocated ankle, gestured to his injured leg before attempting to do a backflip where he did not land properly and he kind of fell back. And I love the screenshot I got here. I can't even imagine John Harbaugh's reaction seeing this. It's a photo of Cam Scadaboo perfectly upside down mid backflip, a backflip that he did not land properly. That was really funny. I didn't really like this that much, but this started making waves everywhere. An unbelievable sentence. Like this is a new sentence. The first time in history this sentence has ever been said. Karl Anthony Towns had to break things up after Tom Brady slapped Logan Paul. And then there was ongoing beef between Paul and Brady. Logan Paul on Twitter said, "This happened because I was roasting Tom for beating him in flag football, and he tries to smack me. Horrible example for kids. Aura -100 plus blocked with a torn bicep." Tom Brady replies, says, "I tried, America. We'll try again next time I see this nerd." Well, then he saw him, I think the next day at the World Cup final and didn't try again. And they were just standing, flipping each other off, not really trying. Listen, I'm hinting at what I think is going on here, but they were like flipping each other off. There's people kind of half-assed trying to hold them away from each other. So, yeah, obviously I think this was a fake interaction, Rob.
I strongly believe it was. I mean, I would bet a lot of money at 90% odds or probability that this is fake. And like, I honestly, I don't care for it at all. The fact that it's blowing up on my timeline is really bothering me. But what bothers me more is, I guess, trying to understand, Geoff, like why Tom Brady, the GOAT of the NFL, like why does he have to do this? I just don't understand the incentives here.
You're not paying enough attention, Rob. You're not paying enough attention. It's unfortunate. Well, I shouldn't say it's unfortunate. Some of the company Brady is keeping, like being the puppet for Michael Rubin, is just deplorable. Mm-hmm. There's people you want to talk about war criminals? Put them on a list. But Brady has one goal in mind. He's got to turn the 1 billion essentially he has to about 4 billion. 4.5. He needs like 50% of an NFL team. That is his only goal.
Okay.
He's ultra competitive.
Yeah.
This is his goal. He is for sale. He's for sale. Jack Mack pointed that out. We've spoken about it before. I unequivocally agree with it, Rob. And if you recall, like he was going to do that stupid flag football league with the Saudis.
I remember that.
They pulled out.
Yeah.
They pulled out. Well, they sort of have taken out of some of their sports assets and the live and other things. That was one of the things that fell by the wayside. So he has to find another way to replace some of that Saudi money. He's obviously going to be fighting Paul in a wrestling event that is probably going to even like take place in Saudi Arabia.
Honestly, I could see that.
So that
my first, it's funny you mentioned that, because my first thought when I saw this was like, this is going to lead to some sort of WWE event.
Yeah, of course. Right. So he'll take whatever, I don't know, him to do 1 match, 2 match, 3 matches in the WWE, what they'll pay him for that. He's got to throw that on the pile as he is trying to accumulate NFL ownership wealth over his dead body.
Okay. Totally buy that and completely agree with that assessment. If that's the end goal and his desire is to meet that end goal by any means necessary, it's well within his right that he can do that. I'm just saying, from my perspective and a lot of other people's perspectives, he's going to tarnish his legacy by doing this stupid shit. And again, he's entitled to do whatever the hell he wants to do. We all are. But to me, I never was a Tom Brady fan because I hated the Patriots. I hated seeing them win. But like, at the end of the day, Tom Brady's Tom Brady. He's like the greatest quarterback that played in terms of success, the rings, and like.
Yeah, but if he's going to lose 40-year-old guys, 45-year-old, 50-year-old guys, and who will now just look at Brady as like the cringest fucking guy around.
But he's going to pick up the younger demographic.
Yeah, sure. I don't know. Like, good for Tom. Like, I'm not saying that as a compliment, but like, that's the path that he's on. And then I see people comparing him to Belichick in terms of legacy tarnishing. I don't even think they're close to the same level. Like, the lack of grace I feel has been shown to Bill Belichick. Maybe I'm wrong here. Is embarrassing. Like, all he's done is like he's got a little hottie toddy and
no,
shit,
Jeff,
hold on,
Jeff,
stop. Let me finish.
Okay.
A college season went to a disaster. So what? Nick Saban had a pro season go to a disaster. Mm-hmm. Like he's not entitled to.
It's not the hottie toddy. It's the like.
Yeah, it's
the
fucking
posing
weird.
in the photographs and like. It's everything that surrounded that. Plus,
but like he's just coaching and
her
I've got a
being
young
on the
thing.
sidelines during the coach. Like it got to a point where it was like, I don't know, Bill. Like,
yeah, it's weird. It's weird, but he's still just like coaching. Brady's out there. I don't know. Brady's so phony. That's what I don't like about this Brady. He's just so fucking phony.
Yeah, like Bill Belichick's just like hanging out with a girl that's like
no, Bill Belichick
30%
is
his age,
like,
He's embarrassing. He's embarrassing
Brady's
himself.
phony.
I'm not defending Belichick. Like, he is embarrassing himself clearly, like very
but he's
embarrassing.
never deviated from him just doing what he wants. Whereas
No,
Brady is
guys, remember?
I'm not trying to
remember
overly
who
defend it.
Belichick was as a head coach in the National Football League. He was like this hard-ass, hard-nosed guy. Didn't do the media pressers. Everyone is fuck you, fuck. And then he turned into this simp when this woman came around. He's posing in photographs on the beach where he's like lifting her in the air.
Yeah, but hey, listen, if we're debating, yeah, but no one's saying Belichick unsucked.
Yeah, true. Leads
Suck
us into our next
unsucks for
topic.
Belichick. Like, I don't know,
There
man.
we go. Oh man.
All right, I'll follow the Brady stuff as it develops, but I hadn't considered the ownership angle. It just makes perfect sense.
Yeah, no, he's going like Mark Davis, is just a guy. It's not like Mark Davis, one of those owners who's like dad owned Home Depot. Like, that's just a family thing. At some point, he's gonna get out of that.
Yeah.
I don't think. Well, you could debate what they're worth. We just saw the Seahawks sale, but it's gonna have to flirt with like 4.5 and change.
Yeah.
And he's gonna figure it out.
Yeah. This could be the first step in doing that. Doesn't mean it's not cringe.
Oh, not the first step. But there's been a lot of
No, that's
steps.
true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Steps along the way
That's
already.
true. If this is the next
The
step,
roast
yeah.
of Tom Brady on Netflix.
Like,
that
people
was,
want like, why
tough
don't
watch.
you step down from Fox? Like, you don't understand. That's like half a billy.
Yeah.
Like, that's on the pile of
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. Very, very good point. Absolutely. I teased it off the top. Jeff Nadu's birthday badge. I feel like pretty silly that we're like covering this, but it did make a lot of noise on gambling Twitter. So I feel like for all the stuff we've done in this show, it's something that needed to be covered as well. So Ohio Tate of Barstool was on the scene at the party. He was with Geoff, and he uncovered a lot of what went down. And by all reports, the event did not go as Jeff Nadu had planned. So we kind of like, sorry, I won't purposely lump anyone in, but behind the scenes, there were rumblings that included myself of like open invite birthday parties is a little strange, at least from my perspective. I won't name anybody else in that, but there were conversations involving that. The birthday party finally ended up taking place. Ohio Tate talked about it, and essentially it was quite a bit of a disaster. Ryan Haynes recapped it, said, well, first of all, Nadu blow dries his balls, brings his Nintendo Switch to a bar, orders shots to sip and not drink, has a piñata at his 37th birthday party. And the big story was working girlfriends uninterested in him. So he flew out a woman and some of her friends, put them up in hotels, brought them to the party to go with him. This is please correct me if I'm wrong.
Did
this is my understanding.
Did he fly them? There was, okay.
So I think there was a hotel for sure.
I watched so many videos of this that too much of it's getting blurred.
Let me paint the whole picture before we like deviate off. Okay, so women were put ups at a hotel. I don't know if they were flown in or anything, but they were put up at a hotel. The intention was for these women, specifically one woman,
big
to
booty
attend.
Let's call them what they are.
I believe in
Jake.
it.
In the words of Ohio Tate, big booty Latinas
Yep.
were at the party. One of which was there specifically to go with Geoff to the party. And then there were complaints, as Ohio Tate put in the video, from Geoff that this woman was spending time and more interested in other men, or maybe one other particular man at the party instead of Geoff. So Geoff is calling to cut the cameras. He wants stuff off air. He's sitting at the front of the party, not even involved. There's question marks of like how many people at the party actually know who Geoff Nadu is. And then he almost kind of storms out of the party. He gets in the ride on the way back. Ohio Tate sneaks in, and he's not allowed to sit in the front, so he's sandwiched between these two, quote, big booty Latinos in the back seat as Nadu and this other girl are like yelling at each other, and her friends are kind of chiming in, and he's just sitting in the middle like, holy fucking shit, what the hell's going on? And that fight apparently is throughout the entire 20-minute car ride. They get out of the car. When they get back to the hotel, Nadu and this woman are still yelling at each other, and Tate just is in the car with the Uber driver, whoever driver, on the way back. And yeah, so apparently women were brought in by Geoff. A woman was supposed to go with Geoff. She was more interested in other people, and he kind of stormed out of his own party. That's the gist I got of it. Geoff, let's go to you. Any details I missed? Anything to comment on?
I just want to say I'm so happy this happened, because even before Geoff like promoted that he was like throwing a birthday party open to the public,
What was happening last year?
we had joked on the channel that we should get Geoff, like we should do an embedded for his party. Obviously, we're not Barstool Sports. There's a lot that goes into that stuff. So to see like Barstool piggyback and give the Barstool treatment to like something I so badly wanted to have an embedded presence for, like, yes, thank you. Like, can you imagine if we could get like the Tate treatment on like a Zilbert, like day in the life, like just a day, like just an embedded day in the life of that. Like
We should send Jason out for a week.
We did that last
Sure, yeah,
We've
no,
done
I did
this.
that
We
with
did it with GRP.
Yeah, no, I understand,
not
but
something we
it's
can
like
do all
we
the
don't
time.
have. Yeah,
We
it's
would
not
like
something
to.
we could do it all the
Yeah.
time. We don't have the Barstool.
Like
it's just
we'd
different
be
operations.
We'd be at the Fez boot camp. We'd be at Nadu's
Yeah.
birthday bash. We'd be at
Yeah.
Gilbert's
Boot camp
house.
would be-
Like these are stuff. That's why you gotta subscribe, by the way, guys.
Yeah, no, of course. Even like to just observe like tunes embedded would be incredible as far as I'm concerned. I don't know. You had to know going in like this was going to just not turn out well. Grown man throwing his own birthday party. The room, it looked like the room where like if I'm at a kid's birthday party and there's like a playhouse in the room beside, and this is where we go have we set up like cake and pizza. I don't know. It was all I was very
there.
There was a lot of dudes in those videos.
okay. In defense of Geoff, though, he showed up with like 4, 5, or 6 big booty Latinas.
Yeah.
If a lot of like random stoolies or random people show up by themselves without any girls, I'm not saying we should be surprised that happened, but I don't know that that's an indictment on Geoff per se. There's not like an extensive club scene in Lancaster.
But the idea is that if you're going to a club, like
Well, he's a coxman. He like promotes himself as like a true coxman.
was
That's like, a guy who is like women
right.
and, he can go to a club.
But you're saying like if they had brought all like women with them, they wouldn't be like the idea is there's a lot of single women in a club, and if they're all bringing significant others or girls they're on a date.
Yeah,
with,
I don't think there's
essentially.
like a bopping place of like single women partying up in Amish country.
Yeah, I suppose.
So we're not like, we are from the mindset like we live in Toronto.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
We
very
go to
different.
King Street, like we're like you can't even fathom that doesn't exist.
Go up to
there.
Mountain, Ontario,
that's
and
fair.
tell me, yeah.
Yeah, but all that being said, like I felt a sense of sadness seeing Nadu leave his party alone. It's one thing to not get like sucked on your birthday. That's happened to all of us. I'm sure. But just to be leaving your party alone, like not even with your buddies, your boys, going to like an after party or like something, like just going from the club home to bed on your birthday, that just seemed kind of like sad. So I got a sense of like, oh, this is like, I don't know.
I agree with you. I can't. So I agree with Kanish, where in his tweet he says, "Incredible day of content. Ohio State asking the hard hitting questions." I understand that this is not for everyone. All right, I'm sure there's people who've watched this channel for a long time and they're like, "Please, can we move on?" But there was something about the short snippets of content all throughout the day where it was really well done, where it kind of made you feel like you almost had to see what was going on.
Yeah.
But also because it blurred the lines, in my opinion, between this is real versus this is a bit. And I couldn't tell the difference. Like,
Geoff
the
is
dude playing Nintendo Switch at a cigar bar.
Is that real?
Sorry, so
I don't think that was real.
Sorry, in the chat, Jason and Equal are telling me that was AI.
Yeah, that was
Okay,
AI.
okay.
I didn't fall for
Granted,
that.
so apologies. The extent of my knowledge on this topic is the slide that's on screen. This is it. I wasn't
Yeah, no,
following
that
this event. I'm not invested in the Nadu birthday bat. It's just these tweets. That's it.
But the one that got me was him going to buy a couple of pairs of Air Force Ones, where he was like, they're like, "Why are you buying a couple?" He's like, "Oh, I wear them for 10 days and then I throw them out." He's like, "You wear them
Pulling the
and
fucking Dr. Dre.
and
I
they
wear one a
get
day.
creased." And I'm like, man, I don't know if this is real or not right now, but I could see it being real. I don't know Nadu well enough. Like, I know he was on the show and I chatted with him regularly.
Like, if you're also hypothetically don't have kids and like you're making a moderate income potentially, I don't know, $300 on shoes a month is like weird. It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's like a crippling habit or addiction either.
No, but I just
not
found
for
it.
me.
I found it
Yeah.
funny.
But you mentioned the blurred lines.
Yes.
And sorry to everyone. I know this isn't for everyone. If it's not for you, probably fast forward it. But if you think we're not talking about the #1 power rank gambling Twitter whack packer, find another show.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Find another show. He is the tier 1 whack packer of gambling Twitter. Definitive gap. Okay. He's blowing people out of the water. And part of what makes it so intriguing, Rob, is the lines. He has to keep the lines blurred.
Yeah.
Because that allows him, when things are a success, that they're like real and this is legit and I'm the man. And when things work against him, it's like for content and views. We're talking about.
I can't wait for that story to develop from this.
He's gonna talk about us talking about him.
Yeah, I win because you're talking about me.
That's it. That is why it is like he lives in the blurred space intentionally. He cannot step into the others because it exposes him.
He can't privately.
I will say, even though as a Nadu crew guy, just like, in politics, there's like polling. I can't fathom it's been like a good month, summer for Nadu. Like the $1 bet.
The $1 one was really tough.
For the brand and the image.
The $1 one was
it's just not been like a good thing.
This is another devastating blow.
Yeah, like listen, guys that hit lows, they pop right back up. George, just all it took was the Hornets bet. Nadu, he got on a plane.
Yep.
He's struggling to find the next thing to border the Rico rivalry. That's how I see it, and content is fickle. And if it's how you make your money, it's got to be a little paranoid.
Yeah.
Right? Because you got to find that other thing. So I think, I don't know. But Nadu crew, big fan. Big fan. And I agree with Kanish's assessment. And,
Kanish, when Farmers Market seemed elite and the trip highlight, I was dying of it. There was so really well done content. Happy birthday, Geoff, by the way, as well.
What's going to happen for 40?
Whew.
I get sometimes the night's not going to break your way, but just the scene of leaving your own birthday party dead ass alone. Doesn't even have to be with girls. People can make fun of you for leaving with I was
about to make this point. actually.
You can't leave with guys because then it'd be called like he's going there.
How can you not enjoy a party of literally only an event you set up? How can you possibly not enjoy that? Like, do you not have enough friends showing up?
I have the vision of him looking at the camera being like, it's just not what I thought it was going to be.
It's one thing like a girl blows you. Like everyone's had that. Everyone's been blown off by a girl, but I could still have fun at the club with my friends.
100%.
It seemed like some people were also causing a ruckus though. Like people were standing on couches after a while. That might have came back on him too. Like where he just like, I don't want to be around.
Do you think the venue was like happy with the promotion or not?
There's so many questions that I have that will never be answered.
This is an event he set up. So the people that are jumping on couches there, this is an event he set up. You are responsible for who's attending this event. Maybe don't make a fucking open invite birthday party to like 50,000 people on Twitter.
And I mentioned the kids' party room, a Transformer showed up. I swear to God, if this could happen again, like Portnoy should have like paid a clown to go. Yeah. And like be making animal balloons outside. Like for the dude's birthday party.
If I was at a club and I left, there was a fucking animal balloon clown, I'd be so fucking excited. I'd be like bringing it home to my fiance. I'd be so happy about that.
Over under on like Men of Honor shows. 3?
2.5.
That's a good line.
Yeah, 3. Yeah, okay, fair.
You're
right. It's hard to imagine a 4th
they have 3.
show.
I don't know. I was thinking like 1, like just they do it. 2 is like, can they fix this? And then maybe there's no. I feel like there's 3. It'd be like they're going for it.
I mean, if you offered me under a half at a good price, I probably would take that.
Yeah.
Listen, I like to play the no goals, so
I feel like we might be being strung along here for a really long time.
I don't think Portnoy, I think, is too smart or is too good at it to not deliver on that. If it's even if it lasts 3 episodes, let them each get their pound of flesh, and then we did.
Rico knows he's not going to get fired.
But I know, but Portnoy can't not deliver on something that he want to bet on. He's the boss of the company, and then as much as it's all fun, you can't like string your audience along for like half a year and then not pay it off. That'd be like in wrestling terms. You build the storyline, you have the match.
Yeah.
They're going to have the match. I don't know that they're going to have 4 matches, though.
Yeah. No, completely agree. All right. Enough about this topic. We'll move on in just a second here, guys.
No, nothing. It was Cleve TA in a group chat that says nothing better than when Geoff is delivering like a serious monologue on a very unserious topic.
This show. I mean, if you know the show, this is what we got to do. Anyways, we'll keep progressing the show in just a second. Before we do, we appreciate you on YouTube, of course, just at 25,000 subscribers. But if for some reason you can't catch us on YouTube or you're traveling or whatever it may be, maybe it's more convenient for you, we're also available on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts. So you can always make sure you're ready to catch Circles Off content, be it Circle Back, be it educational stuff, interviews, whatever else it may be. Always be ready to catch the latest by following us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, as well as being subscribed on our YouTube channel. Just make sure you have that. Again, links in the description for everything that we talk about on the show. Let's get into some real gambling Twitter content now, because this is big. This is really big, especially in the words of Uncle Cool here, who says the biggest news in sports betting social media history. I don't know quite that much, but it is big. Twitter is banning scam handicapper accounts for selling picks. And that's me reading the tweet. It's not me saying anything. 40 plus of them have already been banned. And the crackdown involves, according to Twitter itself, they're explicitly placed gambling, including sports betting, lotteries, and social casinos on its list of prohibited industries for paid partnerships. This means influencers can no longer promote betting services for compensation, affiliate links, or promo codes in their organic posts. Also added aggressive spam and bot filters. Beyond specific gambling policies, X has been utilizing aggressive automated moderation to purge accounts engaging in inauthentic behavior and platform manipulation. Many capper networks use automated engagement techniques such as bulk following, mass retweeting, and spamming DMs that trip these security filters. So, big supposed crackdown. I mean, I'm still at the stage where I'm like, okay, I'll believe it more so when I see it. Yeah. But this this feels like it could be kind of big, Rob. What do you think?
There's the possibility that it can be. Let's see if Twitter goes through and actually polices this in the way that their crackdown says they were. I don't think that this is black and white. So like a lot of things are getting lumped into one here. In terms of like the pick selling stuff, I have zero sympathy for anyone who's no longer going to be able to sell picks through Twitter, right? Like there is no reliable record keeping on Twitter, anything. Anyone that has like a WAP or a Winnable or a Discord that they're promoting, you could promote yourself in whatever way you possibly want to promote yourself to make yourself look like a winner. And there's no fact checking in place. The reality of it. So, of course, there are people out there who sell that win. But you know what? Unfortunately, how about them apples? Like, too bad. The 99% of the people don't. So policing that, I'm totally good with. Crackdowns on affiliate partnerships. That one to me is a little bit more challenging because you do have people who are promoting regulated gaming products, whether that's a traditional sports book like FanDuel, DraftKings, MGM, whatever, through affiliate links. Could be Prediction Market, could be ProphetX, Kalshi, Polymarket, whatever. These are regulated, either through states or CFTC. I would understand a crackdown on offshore betting and sending people offshore because there's no recourse. I mean, just look at the past few weeks with what's going on with Bookmaker, with people's accounts getting hacked and them having their money, taken out of those accounts. They can't do shit about that, right? And to me, if you're going to police affiliates, then you probably should start with the more harmful ones. I still bet offshore. I probably will continue to do so, but I think if you're cracking down on that, you don't treat everything as apples to apples, is the way that I would say we go about it. But at the end of the day, it really just comes down to how this is going to be policed. I'm interested. What's fascinating to me is that X has actually made a choice to start doing this. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, like when I post something on Twitter, the first 4 or 5 responses are like links to Telegram, fixed game alert, this and that. So finally, at least they realize that there's this aggressive spam that's going on. We need to block this. And I totally get that. The rest of the stuff, they've treated it as binary. They basically said, we're either going to, police all of this or none of it. And I think if I was designing some sort of thing, I kind of would make it a tiered system. But at the end of the day, it's probably a net win. It will affect, obviously, people negatively who are promoting via affiliate links, selling picks or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's having a much larger net negative impact on the entire ecosystem. So I don't see any issue with it. It's just a matter of whether or not Twitter actually follows through on it or not. Because I've seen all sorts of stuff in the past before about Twitter going to be a lot more stricter on this, and then nothing ever comes of it. So I am firmly in the same camp as you, Jacob, which is I'll believe it when I see it. And until I see it, I'm just going to assume that, nothing is really happening here.
You like the crackdown?
Yeah, of course. I agree with everything that was said. I am maybe more, you guys are more pessimistic than potentially I am, but I don't know. I was encouraged just seeing that.
Yeah.
That felt good just to read. Obviously it's meaningless without the actions, but in reading it, it made me feel good.
I think just generally in the sports betting space or even the casino influencer space nowadays, there's a lot of people who have seen the amount of money that can be generated from operating in this space. And lots of times when there is money involved, let's just say a lot of morals or ethics go out the window. And we're seeing more and more of it, frankly. I mean, the abundance of discords in the space.
Or Tom Brady slapping.
Yeah, so I totally get it. I mean, listen, I'm not going to pretend here like we don't monetize through partnerships or we've never had affiliate links or whatever. But just speaking from the grander picture, I do think it makes a lot of sense for Twitter to step in and be like, no, we don't want this anymore. Like I said, I probably would draw the line at certain points and not others. And maybe, of course, some of those lines benefit us that, because we don't sell picks here. But Yeah, we'll wait and see what actually happens, because this is not the first time I've read a report that this was going to happen.
So interesting comment came in from Captain Jack Andrews, has worked with Unabated, Sharp Better. He says, Google just lost a landmark case in court, which ruled they are financially responsible for promoting illegal gambling if a creator promotes a site. So Google obviously owns YouTube's.
Yep.
So he thinks all platforms now cracking down as a result, because they're liable if someone on their platform is sharing illegal gambling sites. So I think you are right. It's like more the unregulated space they're targeting. But
well, that happened
start.
definitely on YouTube. So in recent memory, like what was the show that Fezzik was doing with Jared, the Bet US TV? They had to take that off YouTube completely. Went over to, I don't know, whatever the platform was, Rumble or I mean, but like completely killed the pot, whatever.
Well, so it happened on Twitch originally with Stake. So Stake launched their own streaming platform, Kick, to be able to do it still.
Yes. So we've seen that on YouTube already happen, where offshores that had invested in content could no longer run it on YouTube and had to find another platform, and then just basically killed the content completely, right? And like, I'm not advocating for like people to lose, jobs or anything like that. It's not what I'm saying, but it is a dangerous precedent when you are promoting offshores, because the bettor does not really have any recourse if something happens to them. And some might argue, you know what, they don't in the regulated space, but you can appeal to your government, basically the regulators in your state or province. Like, there is at least some action that you can take. So that makes a lot of sense.
Next topic up. This could actually be like maybe the biggest topic on the show today from from a sporting world standpoint, because it involves the NFL and gambling accusations. Yeah. According to Adam Schefter, the NFL suspended Arizona Cardinals personnel executive Ryan Gold indefinitely for violating the league's gambling policy. Pro Football Talk, added on. Cardinals director of college scouting, Ryan Gold, who has been suspended indefinitely violating the NFL's gambling policy, says through his lawyer that the allegations are blatantly false. So, Rob, something must be present here for them to be sniffing around this. Not a ton of information's out right now. What's your take on this?
2 allegations against Ryan Gold. Number 1 is betting on NFL and college football events. Number 2 is releasing proprietary team draft information to someone else who placed wagers. The lawyer for them is saying that the wagers that Ryan Gold placed were actually placed by his wife. They were $10 parlays on NFL and college football games, and that there's no way he could release draft information because he was not privy to who the draft picks would have been. Only the GM and owner. So that's the attorney's case, right? And we'll see how this plays out. This is going to happen a lot. This is not going to be the first time that this happens. I say this as someone who's received information from, not directly from teams before, but other sources who would be like, oh, I know someone here that told me this, and it turns out to be correct. What the difference between players and executives or personnel in the league. Players are allowed to bet on other sports. We've seen the suspensions in the league, like Calvin Ridley, who bet on the NFL, but an NFL player can go and bet a Major League Baseball game without issue. Personnel is prohibited from betting altogether, which is why this is an issue if there was college football parlays or whatever that were made. In terms of whether or not he was privy to information, the team right away, within the first couple hours, the Cardinals removed his bio from the site and basically were like, we don't want anything to do with this. But the reality is, prior to the draft this year, Goodell sent out memos to the big prediction markets asking them to pull all the draft stuff that they have.
Yeah, we talked about it on the show.
Right? Saying, listen, this is going to create like a conflict. We've had different GMs in the league. The Chargers GM really like opposed these markets being offered. The Titans GM was saying like, I was a scout making $35,000 a year. If I had an opportunity to potentially make some money on the side, I would know that like that would pop into my head. And we're going to be facing these situations in the NFL now. That's just the reality of it. As long as these markets are going to continuously be offered, there's going to be people on the inside that are going to try to use it to their advantage to make money. So for me, the story here is that this is probably the first of many that the NFL is going to investigate. And, you know, I feel like we're in for a bumpy road ahead here in the near future, right? And it just is what it is. I mean, that's the landscape of what it is now. It's a little bit hypocritical from the NFL since they're obviously making so much money that as a league that's tied to betting as well. But I don't know what the solution is at this point other than that it's gonna happen. Like they just have to be really strict. And if they find that that personnel is in violation of this stuff, you're gonna have to see lifetime bans.
Yeah, really make an example.
You have to make examples of these people. And I think, unfortunately, I can envision a future where we're doing this show through NFL season or into next year, and we're going to have one of these come up regularly. I hope it's not the case, but I think that's the way it's headed.
Because even like something so innocuous, like just a comment made somewhere and someone uses that for gambling, now that person's in trouble. So like a soccer example I can remember from this is a player was going to a new team and he told his friend, I'm going to sign for this team. That friend goes out of his way to tell other people.
Was that Ivan Toney?
It was Daniel Sturridge.
Daniel Sturridge. Yeah.
So
yeah.
he was going to Trabzonspor in Turkey. He told someone, they told other people, and now there's action on Daniel Sturridge to go to Trabzonspor, and he gets in trouble, Sturridge, for telling someone about it, even though he wasn't involved in the betting. At least that's my understanding of the story.
But like the real challenge is the amount of think about if he releases draft information, right? Think about the amount of markets on the draft. Like the Cardinals picked 3 and they took Jeremiah Love. I believe, and don't quote me, but like the biggest prediction markets, I think there would probably have been over $2 million in volume traded on that pick. But it's not just who's going to go 3rd overall. It's like position to get drafted by this team, right? Like who's going to be the first running back drafted. Like there's so many derivatives of these markets.
And now this guy's not going 3rd. Now he's more likely to go 4th.
You could, like, if you are working with a team and you have access to that information, like you can literally make life-changing money nowadays. Mm-hmm. And there's going to be people who know the consequences and still think that they can get away with it in some capacity. That's just the reality of the situation. So I think we're headed down a very interesting path here. Now that it's not just players, it's...
Yeah, because the argument was always like, for an NBA player, like the DeJounte Porter thing, it was just like, now I know there's like a ton of dirt behind the scenes, which kind of led to it, but like, he could have made $1 million in his next contract. What will be the motivation to do this on DraftKings limits? He's not going to be making anything. Now, like you said, this is life-changing. This is more than you could make playing the sport or being involved in the sport, especially for a scout, like you said, if it's scouts making $35K.
So we've had scouts. I bet you like in the next year or two, we'll have an IT guy go down.
IT, head trainers for teams. I mean, listen, if you're a trainer for a team and you know X player is in bad shape, or like
trainers though, like the IT guy has never really been able, because of the drafts, and he's like, the old man GM, he's like literally doing all of it, has access to all of it.
Yeah.
The trainer, even 20 years ago, could have gotten down.
Sure. But
the trainer's always been on like the inside of the locker room to make money on the games. Yeah. Obviously now it's maybe easier or harder. So like, I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say.
I know exactly what you're saying. I think in particular with this instance, the NFL is really concerned about like the pure information markets, stuff that's not happening on the field. Like stuff that's happening on the field, you're right, Geoff. Like that's existed since the beginning of time. People get information.
Water boys trainers have always...
But you're still kind of placing a bet that can lose.
Yeah.
You know what I'm getting at?
It's the definitive,
of course.
This is happening or it isn't.
You're right. Yeah.
Like if you know Justin Herbert's got some bad ribs or whatever, and he's still going to play through the game, maybe you bet against the Chargers and like, I don't know, you have like a 5 to 10% edge that other people don't know, but you're still at risk.
Yeah.
When you know the Chargers are taking this player with this pick, it's a different story completely. So
absolutely,
we're going to, I mean, I want to say I'm interested to monitor this, but I'm really not. Like I'm not looking forward to more of these coming. who was the coach where there's like the kid was using his iPad?
He's now the Falcons DC. It was the Jets interim,
Albrecht. Like, what I'm really interested in is the level of excuses we are going to hear from some of these guys in the future.
And it'll just be like that. There's like the 3-year window there, maybe even 2 years, where they didn't understand the severity of all this, where stuff is going to get found out, I think, from before.
Yeah.
Where now they're more careful, but they weren't. So
Yeah.
backtracking on all of that as well will be interesting. If you guys are enjoying the show so far, please take a second to make sure you've hit the like button. Check down below. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel as well. We just hit 25,000 subs, and we're really happy about that, but we're not stopping here. We're going to keep pressing forward, keep trying to make this thing bigger, and we need your support along the way. Also, please comment something down below. If you have a take, you have an opinion on something that we said, or you just want to get something out there, we check every comment every week. We like to feature some of our favorite comments as well. Here are the 3 comments.
Before we do, I'm really wondering if in the next few years on that NFL story that we see Simon Hunter get subpoenaed in court, considering he was
in 2 draft rooms at once,
and he's also got apparently inside info on every team around the league. So if the NFL really wanted to crack down here, I think you could get Simon Hunter in, find out who the sources are, and that would be it.
He could be the most important asset to any team because he's on the inside.
He's on the inside everywhere.
Every office. He
knows everything going on around the league.
For sure. First comment that we want to feature from last week's show from Bob's Burgers 8885 says the great thing about MMA and boxing is that there's a generational opportunity every 3 months. And if Tom Brady and Logan Paul are, I mean, if that's WWE, it's different. But
So I've already seen a line.
A line for what? WWE?
Yeah, it just came out. The wrestling match must happen within
that's
a year.
different. That's a bit different, but like, to the point, things tend to always happen in these industries where there's this sort of opportunity.
I will say, even though I'm backtracking here, even though I called Mayweather against McGregor a generational opportunity, I actually don't believe that there is a generational opportunity in MMA or boxing ever due to the corruptness of those sports. Like
McGregor Holloway was crazy.
When you're placing money down, I guess like McGregor Holloway is a little bit different. It's not like a Tyson Paul type of situation where you're like Tyson, who did he fight? What was it, like Roy Jones Jr. or something years ago?
Maybe.
I don't.
Sounds right.
I could be messing that up completely, but it was like an exhibition match that got ruled a draw, and very clearly wasn't. That's kind of what I'm getting.
Even like Mayweather fought Logan Paul, and it was clear that Mayweather was not super interested in trying very hard.
Yeah, Flupp would say you can't get rich being a pussy. But the reality is whenever I'm betting MMA and boxing and I start to build up like a big position, I do ask myself, well, am I not accounting for the probability that this just may be?
Well, you need to factor in the motivation of the superior fighter. So like the best example is Anthony Joshua, Jake Paul. Because why on earth would Anthony Joshua not try to win that fight? There's no way, like the reputation, he's still he's still a big boxer. He's still trying to get big fights. Like that one was obviously in hindsight, I wagered heavily on it. So like that was one where I was like, there's nothing stopping Anthony Joshua here. Whereas other ones like the Mayweather, even like the Tyson Paul fight was just like, there is an element of, I'm not sure like everyone's fully 100% dedicated to the win. Joshua, I felt like it was close to 100.
Sorry, just the feelings just keep coming back. Like seeing the Brady Paul footage, I don't know if it might have been more cringe than some of the Nadu birthday content. I think it was.
The World Cup,
it's
the
not
World Cup
even
video,
remotely comparable. That's in that the Paul Brady stuff is in another stratosphere.
the World Cup. Did you see him at the
It's
World
the
Cup?
worst.
Yeah,
that was the worst.
That's
That was the worst.
embarrassing.
It is
that was
so.
the
This
worst.
is
Like,
what I'm talking
for Tom
about.
Brady to bring himself, like, fine, you want to do a wrestling match, like that's fine, but like to be given the, I don't know, maybe I'm just my sensibilities are wrong here, and I could be cruel about other things, but like the middle finger at the World Cup,
Yeah, it
like
was fucking lame as
Michael
fuck, dude.
Rubin's puppet, like
Oh,
it
it's
just
a
seemed like
joke.
it was such an embarrassing
joke.
It was such an embarrassing.
Nadu
scene.
is like, it's not like out of the realms that a birthday party could go wrong. But for Tom Brady
Yeah,
to be at this level, yeah, it is worse.
Yeah, but I mean,
remotely
yes,
close.
yes, Brady's got a farther fall down than Jeff Nadu. Like,
Anyways,
Jeff Nadu also spin that as we just compared him to Tom Brady. That's a win.
yeah.
Like, that's what we're talking.
There you go. Second comment comes from Goon. I hope this is Adrian, drunken Goon, who we see on the Hammer HQ a lot. Goon889, who says, if you're unsure if your stand of something is right or not, just listen to this show. If you believe the opposite of whatever Jason is saying, you are 100% correct. It seems impossible, but his take on almost everything is laughable at best. Truly a generational bozo. With that being said, love the show. He likes this show. He tunes into the Hammer daily. He's always tuning into Jason's watch-alongs as well, so he's definitely a fan. But he had some harsh words here. By the way, if this is Adrian, congrats on winning the Hammers World Cup contest as well. But
I don't think
how do you feel about
Drunken
that take?
Goon would say that. I mean, I love that take.
Generational
him?
bozo is
Oh, geez, it wasn't Adrian.
It
I thought it was Adrian.
You know what? Credit to Jason. I agree. He has a lot of really bad takes. Some of them, when you're doing content with him, you actually want to just strangle him because he just like when
he's in the
like when
chat.
you watch Caleb
He is-
Williams
he
throw
is
8
in-
straight incompletions to open guys and then he like runs
He is
for a
in-
first down.
He is in the chat right now talking about how it's a huge win for Nadu. He threw the biggest party Lancaster has ever seen, and he bowed out on top. Yeah,
I will say
had no integrity, Jacob.
like if you had a really strong opinion and then Jason sat down next to you and he's like, you absolutely nailed it, I would think to myself, like, what did I miss here? I might have to reevaluate this.
Knitch was on the Thursday show last week. He's like, yeah, Jason and me really liked McGregor, so you knew this was going in the right direction for this bet. That's good. Sorry, Jason. Sorry you had to hear that.
That's
Anyways,
a great comment. And
funny.
he did say he likes the show, even with Jason. So, we've got to be doing something right.
Finally, Chum43 says Bryce Harper is totally innocent in terms of gambling addiction. This was the Bryce Harper story that we covered last week, but completely guilty for doing any fan engagement for $900. What happened to the good old days when we shamed sports stars and movie stars for hawking products and cheap merch? And that was back when they made 1/100th of the salaries that they make now. It's disgusting. Rob is right. The video was harmless in terms of gambling addiction connections, but let's start shaming athletes for scummy business again.
Where do we draw the line on that?
I mean,
Like Shaquille O'Neal has promoted
gonna say-
180 different brands in his life. Like I'm just estimating here, but he's doing commercials for printers.
Yeah.
Like what
We can't. All our legends can't be Michael Jordan.
well, Michael Jordan is a bad comp.
what? How is Michael Jordan your example of the pristine?
Because he doesn't hawk a lot of shit.
He didn't hawk anything, but he was pretty much a degenerate gambler.
So it is his own time on his own money.
I suppose.
I just mean as a celebrity endorse.
I mean,
compare
listen,
Tom
there's a
Brady,
world-
Michael Jordan to the two greatest North American major four athletes. One guy would literally
Who's the highest pedigree, squeaky clean athlete that you can think of? That if you think back on them, you're just like, this is the prototypical stand-up guy.
Gretzky until
honestly,
he was friends with Trump.
Yeah, and he's also like BetMGM now.
Honestly-
Oh yeah, discover.
Harry
yeah.
Kane comes to mind the most.
Okay, I was thinking
Even
North
like
American.
LeBron James.
No, but like LeBron to the average person,
Because
they're like,
he's-
what a
He's not
fucking
squeaky
LeBron-
clean. He's such a
LeBron-
try-hard.
He's such a tryhard, man.
But he does. I mean, I guess he has like the DJ
attention
affiliations
whore.
now.
Control the news
No.
cycle,
No, LeBron's not the example, but
Who
it
is
could
the-
come from the NBA. Though.
I was originally thinking Peyton Manning, but he also had like some sort of
there was some steroid
Methuselah
thing.
stuff.
Give
Yeah.
give us an
His
answer.
wife,
in the
Peyton Manning,
chat.
had the drugs sent under his wife's name.
I forgot about that.
But
that.
he's pretty squeaky.
Okay.
Joe Montana.
I
I'm
said
going
I
way
said
back.
give some good example in the chat, not the worst examples you can think of. Like John Stockton and Peyton Manning have been named. I don't know about those. Kaká in soccer.
Is there
That's
an
actually pretty
is there
good.
an Olympian or something?
No Olympians ever beat the steroid allegations.
I think you need an athlete who is completely utterly devoted to religion. That way they're just like completely outlet like Kaká is. Something like that. That's like the most
Crosby?
squeaky clean type.
Sidney Crosby.
Crosby's actually
pretty-
really
he's
good.
been
Yeah.
Sidney Crosby had a
Who?
pretty Phil Rivers.
Phillip Rivers?
No,
Yeah,
Phillip
but he
Rivers-
wasn't like good enough.
Yeah.
Crosby, I think, is a great.
Phillips
guy,
a great
actually.
example, but he's like below the standard of tier.
I'm talking about elite.
like the all-time great level guys.
Yeah.
I think honestly, Crosby is probably the nothing ever.
For North American
there
sports,
was never a Crosby scandal, like anything. He just keeps to himself, quiet. Everyone around views him as like a great leader, ambassador for the sport. It's probably him. Because baseball's too tough, and there's too many steroid allegations from all the great players over time.
I mean, look at the golfers, Tiger and Phil.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now we got Scotty Scheffler taking 50-yard drops 50 yards away. You know.
I don't know.
Anyways, let us know if you listen after the fact. I would be interested to hear some examples.
Yeah, give us some answers in the chat. Maybe we can revisit them. Don't find purposely the worst possible example you can think of and send it in, because I even see one in the live chat right now as well. Anyways, we're going to get to the chopping block in just a moment here before we do a word about BetStamp Pro, because it's a great product that is built to grow your volume and your ROI. Every player, prop, and alternate line across 200-plus books on one screen in real time. Price against BetStamp's True Line, a proprietary model weighted per market and prop type. Bias corrected, producing the most efficient, sharpest props pricing reference in the industry. Catch off-market props the second they appear across more markets and more alt lines than anywhere else, so you can get more money down at a bigger edge more often. Scan the QR code that's on screen right now or use the link in the description to apply today. I use BetStamp Pro as well, and I highly recommend it. I definitely think you should get involved. Check out the link in the description or scan that QR code. Get yourself involved today. But now it is time for the chopping block. Few things on the chopping block today. First of all, at Fade Us Dave, formerly known as Playmaker Dave, had the hashtag Zilbert Files controversy deep dives. 1 out of 8, a 1 out of 8 thread. It looks like almost like Claude built
this is Claude generated.
Yeah,
for sure,
Claude generated sort of presentation, 8 slides.
Yeah.
I didn't read any of this. All I can think, like, really, you spent this long dedicating 8 separate tweets to Matt Zilbert. Like, what are we, Geoff? What are we doing here, man?
I mean, I applaud the effort, but you got to pick a
you?
target.
Why?
Pick
What are
a
you applauding?
Well, but this is the thing. Like with Zilbert now, like Zilbert. No, is he even selling picks? Like no one is taking him seriously. What is the How do you do an expose on someone who's not being taken seriously? Like people just stop responding to him. Stop interacting.
No, but even like this wasn't even getting this didn't even get a ton of engagement. Like who is this for? Who is this?
Who is out there that needs to be
who is like, oh my god, he fucking
you know
got
what?
him. Gilbert got exposed.
You know, like can you imagine one guy sitting down and being like, you know what? I thought this guy was a real winning handicapper.
That's what I'm
good thing I
why?
read this. Like, what are we doing at this point?
I gotta say, I'm really happy. About a year ago, like around Bet Bash, I was the not to like put myself at this level, but I was the guy when Zilbert fucked up. It was like, whoa, you gotta show Jacob this. Like he's gonna love this. I have been removed from that. I'm no longer the default. Jacob's got to see this. So thankfully, I'm like out of this. But this just, what are we doing?
It's actually pretty funny, like the attempt to do gotchas on Matt Zilbert, as if everyone is. We all get it. We all know. Like, yes, there are people who play along, peanut butter. We all love to have our fun with
That's
it.
got to be his worst stick going.
It is 100% his worst stick.
Well, it just opens you up to like so much.
My favorite thing with the peanut butter stick is he always involves someone else. He'd be like, I know Flup agrees with me on this or what. Like he always brings someone else into the conversation, which is, is so fun.
Good.
Well,
Maybe it is funny. Anyway,
this type of effort, I think.
Look, it's Claude built, so it's not like a ton. But
Well,
like,
you gotta feed in all the.
you have to feed.
You have to give it the proper research.
Hashtag chase for history versus hashtag chase for transparency.
It is quite funny, actually.
All right. Next on the chopping block, this user here at Sam Talks RL says almost 8 years to the day since placing it, and after several hours in live chat, I can stop staring at this in my open bets and it is a wager at 20-1 on Kylian Mbappe to become the World Cup's all-time top goal scorer. This was in 2018 when he played for France. I think he had 4 goals in that. He may have had 2. He had between 2 and 4 goals in that tournament. Had a really good World Cup in 2022. Then had an incredible 10-goal World Cup this year to finish as a Golden Boot winner and finish currently as the record holder. But he adds, would have been a lot simpler had Messi not scored 15 World Cup goals after turning 35. And thank you to Michael Pliszka for the hashtag #CircleBack assist on alerting us to this one. So interesting. I mean, Kylian Mbappe in that World Cup was, he must have been 17 or 18 in that 2018 World Cup, and he was already starting for France. He was already clearly like a very impactful player, scored a very nice goal in the final. So I could see the appeal of a bet like this, but 8 years, this paid off probably a lot quicker than even he would have expected making this bet.
Yeah, but also like don't wager on things that are going to take 8 years.
That's what I was going to ask. Yeah.
Like if you put
it should have taken longer as well.
If you put $50 into Bitcoin in July of 2018, you 10x. You made the same return roughly, and you had a much higher
$50 into a pack of smokes. It's gone in a day.
Yeah, I know, but like I
don't know, like the Bitcoin, like that's
any investments. You could have turned a $50 investment into 1,000 in 8 years.
Hear me out. I'm just going to assume for a second, like I got nothing like this. Part of this would just be like making a call, and it's almost like just documenting a call you made.
Yeah.
Not to say I'd bet this or you could bet this for $1, but it's almost like a proof point, just to like something to, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like you're making a call, you're just calling it to yourself more so than the bet. And then I can show the bet in the lead up to the World Cup. I'd be like, boys.
Wouldn't this be like Roy McIlroy's dad putting a bet on him to win the Masters when he was a kid or something like that?
In some ways, but like not nearly as cool. But yeah, in some ways you're just like calling you're like, instead of like tweeting something, so. It's also like, here's my proof instead of a tweet. In some ways.
Yeah. What I can relate.
But I agree with you, like 8 years to have.
Yeah, probably don't do this.
What I can relate to most, though, is having that open bet finally clear. Because I have 2 instances with offshore. There's 1 year I bet the wrong year for the Super Bowl winner. Honestly, very misleading. I won't name the book, but they had this year. Imagine logging into a sports book and you click Super Bowl and it has next year's Super Bowl listed on top of this year's Super Bowl. So I'm looking at prices. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. So I saw that one in my account every single time I logged into open bets. I also bet Deshaun Watson MVP when he got traded very quickly. That beat market, which I had to log in every fucking day on the open bets and see that on top. At least this guy won his bet. I'll say that, because there's nothing worse than logging in and just seeing the dumbest bet that you made every single time you check your open bets.
I have an offshore that hasn't graded a bet from, funny enough, it's the 3M Open this week, from the 3M Open in 2023.
2023.
Yeah.
Is it a loser for you?
Yeah, it's a loser. If it was a winner, I'd have gone to customer
Well, either
service.
way, you've put the money down. You might as well just get
I know. I just want it gone. I don't like looking
I
at
have this issue
it.
at a sports book where a random NBA player prop from 3 years ago is stuck as pending, even though lost.
A loser. It's a loser. I'm not trying to say.
And I went in- I went in-
but the money's already there.
I went into customer service and
it's
said,
just
"Can you just like remove? I just don't want to see this anymore." And they said they couldn't fix it. I was like, whatever. Minor inconvenience, I suppose.
Yeah, I know, but
That account's gone, so it doesn't matter at this point.
for me, because
And there was a offshore, the same offshore to your Super Bowl thing. 1 year, the week of the Masters, the first major of the year, when you went to golf, it had the Open Championship odds at the top. And it's kind of tricky. It's like Masters week. You see the same players.
Yeah.
I thought it was like sneaky. Like that's
I've worked for offshores before. The tech is not the best. So like, I don't think that's intentional. Sometimes it's just an oversight or whatever, but yeah, it's annoying. But my OCD, I can't see like.
I'm also very organized, so I don't.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
like
that
get this
either.
open bet out of my face. I even asked them to grade it a loss like mid-season, and they're like, "No, we can't settle the market." I'm like, "Ah, damn it."
All right, let's get to the next on the chopping block. We've been running along here, so we'll fire through these maybe the last two. Let's take let's say what needs to be said on this one here. So Steve Fezzik said, I'm very excited to announce I'm now providing services to sicscore.com. So that a pick selling website, I suppose. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to work with at Pro Football Doc and his entire team, contributing my expertise. So we got a hashtag circle back by @Suns116. But if you go back a few months ago, was it 3 months ago, on this channel, in that chair, Rob, you said, I expect him to either sell picks on his own or go to SIC. And you said that the most predictable outcome ever, a great fit.
Listen, I know the space. I know the people in it. We won't have Geoff comment here because I don't want Fez to blow up his phone. Plus, I don't want him to, to go into his friend Dr. Chow or anything like that, who's really tight with him. But it is the most predictable thing ever. Like, as soon as I saw on his forums, I'm no longer, it wasn't the way we discussed it on the show. He didn't term it like he's done selling picks. It was just like he was done selling picks on pregame.
Yeah,
the wording
was
it's as predictable as it comes, man. We cut this clip. Like, we knew that this was coming. This clip was ready to go.
This clip was ready to
We
go.
had it ready to go immediately. We're like, it's coming eventually.
We
just
waited,
wait for
we
the
waited,
to tweet it.
We waited for the official announcement.
This was like a day one prediction.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
this is Rob's calling a shot.
Like, sorry, like Steve wants to, him and Rob have his thing. Rob knows you pretty fucking good, Steve.
That's it, man. It's simple.
He knows you and he knows the landscape of the industry. Where, like, within 3 seconds of one announcement, he nailed your landing.
It's going to be tougher for Steve this year because Hitman doesn't have a service this year. So those picks aren't going to the masses where Steve
hear
can
me out,
chase
though.
the steam.
Hear me out. It actually could work better for
I see.
Steve.
No distractions.
No,
Let me
I know
make
what you're
this
gonna
point,
get at.
Jacob. Now that the service isn't public, Steve is going to get a couple sweet nothings from his good friend Hitman throughout the year. He can then give those, even if they've moved a little from the Hitman number,
We won't have
because
proof.
people won't know what the number is or what the Hitman bets are. So Steve can moonlight as it.
Didn't
And
think
maybe
about that.
here I'm going to promote Steve's service. You buy Steve's service, you make it 3% Hitman.
Oh, don't do that, man.
3% Hitman.
Don't-
But you don't know. That's the thing. You could be just betting a Fezzik play.
Yeah,
That's a risk you got to take if you want the service. That could be a Hitman.
You're like, that could be a
That could
Hitman
be-
play.
oh, that one feels like a top secret Hitman play. I'm going to triple down on that one.
I mean, if it's a Colston Loveland over, it'll be a Fez play
You still owe Fezzik like a congratulations.
for his contest win.
Something like 12th place, 8th place, 4th place, 1st place.
I believe 9th. I think he won. Did he not win
And he
the
won a
Westgate?
segment.
He won the
You
West.
you owe him a congratulations.
I don't owe him anything.
Okay.
I don't. If you see,
Well, sorry, I don't want to say you owe it to him, but he's still looking for it.
I believe he's looking for it. That does not mean that I owe it to him. Those are very different things. And he's not going to get that. So he can keep looking for it.
Next to chopping block, the Do Your Job parlay. So hopefully one of the X crackdowns eventually says, is this possibly the dumbest Do Your Job parlay I've ever crafted? Perhaps. He said, what have I told you? I have a plus 251 NFL future that I have 1,000% confidence in. Is this the most legs I've ever had on a Do Your Job parlay? Yes. Is this the most confidence I've ever had in a Do Your Job parlay? Yep. I don't see a losing leg on this bad boy. Do Your Job. So it's a 25-leg NFL parlay. It's basically just like a season long, like over half a win for over 1.5 wins for almost like every team, like small legs like that. And it's the classic like SGP for a primetime game where you take like everyone's lowest numbers and it's just do your job. Rob, is this the secret edge that we're not seeing?
So I only included this here because the amount of replies I got from people who loved this as a parlay, which I understand why everyone does. Because you just look at a team and you're like, oh, the Bills over 4.5 wins. Of course that's going to happen. Basically, he took the lowest alternate win total that was offered. Why he picked only 25 teams and not 32, I don't know. But he picked 25, bet the over.
The Raiders on here, so he didn't take like the absolute shit
stuff.
teams to go over half a win.
So the reason why this never works is a few different reasons. But one, you're very susceptible to quarterback injuries in the NFL. And a lot of these teams have very drastic drop-offs from the starting quarterback to the backup. But even further to this, something that Plus EV Analytics always preaches is correlation in SGPs. And when you take overs on every single team, well, a lot of these teams are going to play each other in games this year where one of them is going to lose. So you don't want to do stuff like that where you're now getting a bad outcome for one of your bets every single time one of these teams goes head to head. You want to look for stuff that is a little bit more highly correlated. But, listen, like maybe I could have done a full separate video on this, but it's really not
Don't
that
do
easy.
this
Yeah,
shit,
just don't like the stuff that feels too good to be true. It often is. You need 25 outcomes to win.
What if I took one minus EV play and multiplied that by 25 and continued to compound how shit the play was? Like, just diabolical bet. Absolutely. Last thing on the chopping block, Sean Perry wins back on the show. It's been a while, I think. He says, I do it again. He had a ticket, $300,000 on Spain to win the World Cup at plus 475. He said he was not hedging, and he showcased his bet slip here. There were conversations that this bet slip was fake, Rob, but you think otherwise, actually.
Okay, so I wanted to include this because of the amount. This generated over 1 million views. Tons of people dunking on Sean Perry, which, listen, normally I totally support. I think he's as lame as whatever Brady and Paul got going on right now. I can't stand Sean Perry. But let's use some common sense here, okay? Winner, Spain plus 475. I understand everyone is looking at it, the fact that it says regulation time winner. This is a futures bet, is what this is. This is on Bovada in the US. That's what the bet slip looks like. You technically could get that amount of money down if you had a VIP account. I know because I used to work for this group as well. There are weird things in the bet slip every now and then, but so many people were hyper fixated on the regulation time instead of the actual odds on the wager. Where could you ever bet Spain plus 475 to win in regulation time against Argentina? That is so absurdly off market. This is a futures ticket. And the only reason I bring it up is if you're going to go in on someone hard, you got to be right. Because with these guys like Sean Perry, the influencer, pick seller type of guys, they use this as like, it's us versus them. Like, they use this as a storyline in the future. People are trying to take me down. They're so jealous of this and that they're willing to make up stuff about my bet being wrong. Like, you got to be really careful. I'm like, so many responses. People got by this. Like, just look, apply some common sense. I know it's challenging. I can't say it's 100% real. I can't. I don't have like a Bovada backend login where I could say this bet was placed. But the slip itself is a future slip on Spain to win the World Cup, which did win, technically.
And also, like, Sean Perry's never been shy of posting slips. Like,
100%.
He'll get slips directly from the counter. Like, it's not like I wouldn't say he's known for having fake bet slips.
No. What we don't know.
Benson makes fun of him for a lot of things, but not that the bet slips are fake.
Yeah, or
no,
the bets
he's betting real
the bets
money.
are real.
What I don't know here, there is like a Vegas Dave used to do this, right? Vegas Dave used to bet like, I don't know the exact amount, but he bet every MLB team to win the World Series, every NFL team to win the Super Bowl, every team to win the World Cup. Because then no matter what, you got the winning slip. And the rest that you lost in VIG is just a marketing cost.
Well, there's an Argentina slip somewhere on the hedge.
There easily could be. That's why you can't trust this shit at this scale, especially from people who are, let's just say, people who operate the way that Sean Perry does. You know what I'm getting at.
That'll do it for us on Circle Back today. Thank you so much for tuning in, especially if you stayed to the end of this very long version of the episode. If you did enjoy, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe for more content just like this. Comment something down below as well if you have a take. We love to hear your feedback. And as always, we will see you again next time.